Hi guys, this is skittflash here, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3 FES. In the last part, we did... God, who knows, really? It's already, we either did Tartarus stuff, or we did Social Link stuff, or both. And that's the entire game for you. So there's that. But, in terms of Tartarus stuff, because I sort of segregate the two, we stopped at floor 7 before we got tired and just bailed, so, let's continue on in floor 7 and continue our Tartarus adventures. And we can start by kicking these guys' ass. Again, I just love, he has a bunch of personas, he has Bufu. Bufu happens to be enough to kick every one of these guys' ass. Bufu also seems to be the popular spell of this floor. Like, it seems that, the popular weakness seems to change throughout, floor sets to floor sets. But Bufu seems to be the go-to spell to kill absolutely everything. But that usually changes the higher we go. It usually changes to fire, maybe thunder, Garu, or haha, surprise, nothing. But that's way later, when the game starts getting hard. Not to say it's not already hard. Who knows, maybe it'll kick my ass in the near future. Gotta love that post-commentary. So anywho, I don't know, why did I show this one? I know I had to show this one for a specific reason. Oh, is it because I leveled up, really? Huh. Well, yeah, now I'm level 5. And we got 4 experience, and we're at level 5, and what's to the next level? 127, of course. So if we keep on getting that good old 4 experience, maybe we'll reach there in, I don't know, 30 battles or something. Which isn't, no, who am I kidding? That is a lot. And speaking of which, every time in this game, oh, wow. Fail. Every time you level up in this game, you actually, as a way of anti-grinding, you actually get less and less experience per the same battle. So, since I leveled up, maybe they won't give me 4 experience per battle. Maybe they'll only give me 3, and so on and so forth. I just want to point out that 4 experience per battle is pretty abysmal. Oh my gosh, I'm surprised they give you so little in the beginning of the game. That's why you don't really level up until much later. So we already reached another. I don't even know what you would call a checkpoint. I guess you could call that checkpoint. That's a good way of calling things. So again, systematically for every checkpoint, you want to go back to floor 1, save, and go back up, in case the mid-boss happens to kick your ass. Which, if you're anything like me, it does all the time, so I did my saving. I just cut that out. You don't need to see that stuff. And so, for mid-boss time, we're fighting giant hands this time. Well, that's nice. The small hands were cool and all, but they gotta be big. So I want to switch to Orpheus. If I'm not mistaken, these guys have resistance to every single type of spell, so you want to use physical attacks. In fact, they're actually weak to, bash attacks, I think? Slash attacks? I don't know. They're weak to it. They're weak to an attack that I thought I didn't have, but then halfway into the battle I'm like, oh wait, silly me, I do have it. So, you can watch me being an idiot for a while, and get my ass kicked by, the second mid-boss of the mini-boss of the game. How pathetic. So while you're waiting for that, I kinda wanna point out, isn't this a trippy place? I mean, if you haven't come to that conclusion already, I mean, look at it, I guess it looks, I don't know, it doesn't really look like a school. I know one of the areas look a lot like the school, but I'm pretty sure the school doesn't have, floating Roman design. Oh no, it kinda does, it kinda looks like the outside where the chrysanthemum tree? Persimmon tree. I have to get those two confused. And thank God Garu missed absolutely everything, because they would have killed our everything if it did land. Because these guys do a suspicious amount of damage. Or maybe I just don't have the proper equipment. That's probably a thing. I'm really bad about equipping equipment. So usually it ends up I have improper equipment and I'm just doing less damage and taking more than I really should be doing. So, instead of attacking, I'll use bash. Okay, strike damage. The rift is strike damage. Lo and behold, this happens to be strike damage. I didn't know that. I was at this moment in time, I was like, oh, look at that. So, as customary if all the enemies have, the same weakness, exploit every single weakness and knock them all down and do all-out attacks.
You exploited the enemy's weakness.
Thank you, Mitsuru. I'm so good at exploiting, right? All thanks to, the magic of, the Shimigami Tensei Wiki, because again, scanning these enemies will give you jack shit in terms of information. Or maybe it'll give you their arcana, what use that does. Unlike in Persona 4, oh wow, using Dia for the first time. in battle, I suppose. And so begins her status as a healer. Unlike in Persona 4, if someone uses a multi-hit attack, you won't actually get a second attack unless they're all weak to it. Which is, it's good, but it's also bad. It's good that when the enemies do it, you don't get wrecked, but it's bad that when you do it, you can't wreck enemies. So, you know, it's bittersweet. Yeah, so, that's about it. Oh, there you go, one's still alive, just rush him, I suppose. Our evasion rate is reverted, no. The battle's over. And we got the Mazio's gem, jewel, I don't even know anymore. So, yes, heal us, please, Yukari. So, I don't know if I've explained this before, but, throughout Tartarus, besides the checkpoints, there are also these plot barriers, I guess you could say, that don't open until you've done something specific within the plot. And typically, whenever, spoilers, full moon, that's why the full moon is so important. So what you want to do is, whenever you have a new chance to explore more part of Tartarus, you always want to go up until you can't go up anymore because you reach one of those plot walls. And once you're there, once you've gone to the plot walls, if you can get to the plot walls, because the mini bosses get pretty hard, if you can get to the plot walls, you're pretty much ready for the, you know, whatever it is that stops the plot walls. So once you reach the plot wall, I've been using that term too much and it's sounding stupider and stupider each time, almost as stupid as the word stupider. But then you're pretty much set. You don't really have to go back to Tartarus until you can explore more of Tartarus, which means you can spend more of your time doing social links and all that nice jazz. Which I must say, I do like how this game is split. I really like how, like, I mean, they're connected. I mean, social links are important for your battles, but you know, it's sort of its own entity on its own. Like, if it was a game just about social links, it'd still be fun. I mean, the fact that it's a combination of an RPG and this, like, simulator thing is really what I think makes this game just really, really awesome. But, like, the fact that, like, you had two different game styles and they all, like, you know, all packed into one little thing and they sort of mesh is pretty awesome, I must admit. That came out of nowhere. But, yeah, so this is us rushing Tartarus. Again, I've stated this a million billion times already. But, as you notice, this going up the stairs is kind of, you know, looking a bit samey, if you ask me. So I figure maybe after the plot wall, I'll start, like, showing maybe, like, the first 2 floors of a segment. Because if you'll notice, like, you'll notice a change in enemies. Like, oh, we get Angel too. Cool. You'll notice we saw some new enemies that haven't been in the previous floors, because obviously the enemies change every time you go to new floors. So I'll show, like, maybe the new enemies of the new floors, and maybe, like, 2 or 3 floors, and then I'll cut to where the mid-boss is, just to save time. Because, you know, unless you want to see me spending, like, 80 plus hours roaming the hallways, starting to look more and more of, like, a school when I think about it like that, then, yeah, I'll just cut it. Speaking of which, my school actually doesn't have hallways. It's sort of outdoors. I mean, it has hallways, but, like, one of the walls is missing. It's a horrible way of explaining things, but it's sort of an outdoor school. Like a campus, like a college campus, more or less. It's more like that than an indoor school. So, yes, I think she flat out said that there's going to be some entity on the 14th floor, which is good. I like when they give us when she gives us a solid answer. And treasure, make sure you get this. A lot of the times you can actually find, like, a lot of the times in the treasure chest, you'll actually get, you'll get armor and, like, weapons and good stuff like that originally the cop would overprice you for. Yeah, the prices those cops have is just criminal, of course. But if you get them here, you can get them for cheap, and they're usually the current armor you want for that moment in time, so it's kind of fantastic. So yeah, so always be looking out for treasure chests. Unfortunately, because the moment I see stairs, I kind of just take the stairs and ditch. That's sort of what keeps me from getting a lot of, you know, good armor and equipment, but, you know, whenever I do see treasure chests, I go out for it. I mean, there's probably who knows, there were probably a treasure chest in that hallway I didn't explore, but there's also stairs here, and I like rushing through Tartarus. I mean, probably off-screen, for the sake of this Let's Play, and me not embarrassing myself a million billion times, I'm probably going to end up, like, you know, grinding off-screen, and looking for all the cool equipment and stuff, but for now, I can't. Mostly because in the early game you can't really grind off screen. You can't really grind in general. I mean you can, but you get tired really quickly. Like being tired is a thing, but it really later in the game it stops being a thing. I don't know what like determines how quickly Minato gets tired. I think it's based on his level or something, but really he stops getting tired after a while. Like unless you like grind for hours and hours and like, oh, now I'm tired, but you know, Minato gets some tolerance. He learns how to handle. So we're in the Velvet Room. Oh, I just love this music. And the fact that this is an elevator. That's always funny. Seeing as I've been getting a lot of Asparus cards, I kind of want to fuse her, because obviously I'll just pick up another Asparus through fusion, so I don't really have to worry about that. And we can actually make Nekomata now that we're level 5. I guess I really just don't want to see Asparus go, because I've been using her mainly. But, I should probably just do that. Again, don't fuse Orpheus just yet. Or you can, up to you. I don't think they'd let you not re-get back Orpheus. Because really, how are we going to get back Orpheus? You don't find him in fusion cards. So I decided not to fuse Nekomata. I guess I didn't need her. And we can fight this boss. Fun fact, I was fighting this boss. I was doing pretty good too. You know, half health. And I discovered that it can one-shot me. Yes, it one-shotted me while I had full health. Full health, mind you. You know, there was no amount of health I could have had that would have kept me from getting this game over. So as you might be able to realize that kind of presents a problem. So obviously maybe if I had a higher defense, if my persona had more endurance, or if I had armor that increased my defense, or I was a high enough level to have 7 more HP, that would have kept me. I would have not died there. So you know, obviously I don't think I'm ready for that boss just yet. There's not much you can do. While I'm here, I will fuse Nekomata, thank you very much. So that was my first death. I won't lie. This game is hard. Atlas hard. So, I mean, who would have thought? I mean, Atlas has a history of having pretty damn hard games. So I won't say that I'm not gonna get a million game overs, because I obviously am. That's just something that goes along with playing this game. But, you know, I mean, there was no use in showing that fight. I'll show you the full thing when I can actually beat it. So, you know, that's nifty. So yes, this is persona fusing. This is the first time we've actually done this. I think so, yeah. You can fuse personas to make more personas. Like some bioengineering Pokemon. To, you know, to bring back to that analogy again. And because we have our Magician social link with Kenji, it's level 1, we actually get an EXP boost for Nekomata because she's of the Magician Arcana. That's how that works. I'll explain more on that later, because it's a lot to explain. I mean, it's pretty simple, but, you know, I understand that most people who just like, unless you played the series before, and if this is like the only part of me you're watching, it's easy to, I can honestly say that I probably wouldn't even understand what the hell is going on. Also, I found Juzumaru in this rare chest. This is actually a rare item that I just found it, which is lovely. I'm pretty sure it's actually a mission to find this sword later on the game, so you know, it's actually a katana for it's actually a katana. Minato can wield it because he just, you know, has that infinite potential, but I actually like Minato just using swords, so I'll keep him with Gladius, and I'll give the Juzumaru to Junpei. But yeah, I'm really glad that I found that sword. That would have saved me from finding it later. Not like I would have even wasted my time looking for it. So, you know, that will help me later. You can give him equipment. So, yes, here, take that. So what was I saying earlier about fusing? Yes, it's a thing. I'll talk more about it later. This is actually a relatively short part in terms of persona length. In terms of persona length, that is. So, in the next part, seeing as we hit a plot wall, we might be doing social link stuff then, I guess. So until then, this has been skittflash. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Bye!